All right, we're back. This is going to be a pretty in-depth, fun video. It's a video that near and dear to my heart because I love trying to find ways to save weight comfortably without going to too extreme of a level. This is basically going to be easy ways to shave weight on your backpack hunts. Now, I'm not talking about being stupid crazy and being like, hey, I'm going to take a trash bag for a rain jacket, or I'm going to take my kid's backpack and use that for a 10-day backpack hunt. Like, not that sort of thing, but basically this will help you, like I always try to say, I want to help people think outside the box. So I'm not saying, hey, you have to use exactly the pieces of gear here. A lot of this stuff might help you out a lot if you're just getting into a backpack hunt or you're in the market to purchase some new gear. Other things are easy as just carrying a few less things or maybe grabbing some stuff that you have at home and swapping that out. So basically I have a bunch of different items right here on ways you can shave weight. Yes, there's a lot of other ones, but these are probably the biggest and easiest ones you can shave weight. You can always say, hey, just lose some body weight. Sure, some people can do that. I could probably cut my hair. That might save an ounce. I don't know. Shave my arms, whatever it may be. Those are the extreme levels. So this is going to be gear related. So as you see here, I have all the list of items. I have a category here that's the original weight of said item, and then the weight savings hack, what that item now weighs, and then on the far right here is going to be actual weight savings. So I'll get right to it. This whole system right here is going to save you 10.75 pounds. That's a lot. That's, maybe that 10.75 pounds you save could mean you can carry a heavier rifle like I could do. Maybe I want to carry bigger optics to be able to glass more, that sort of thing. So you can save weight in certain areas, gain weight in other places that help you be more comfortable, stay in the mountain longer, take a better shot, that sort of thing. So you don't have to do all these, maybe pick and choose a couple of them you can do that you're comfortable with, and then try it next hunt. So we're gonna start right away with food. So I don't have a full kit of food here right now, but I want to talk about my food method. Basically, I take my entire day's worth of food and I'll vacuum seal it all into a smaller bag. So I'll basically take whatever freeze-dried meal I'm using, take this out, dump it in a freeze-dried container, make it a lot smaller. So what that's going to do is it's going to save weight and bulk at the same time. A bunch of my bars, a bunch of my, my bagel, all that sort of thing. I take all the wrappers out of all that stuff too. I don't want to pack trash into the mountain and then have to pack it back out. That trash does not help me kill an animal. Food is fuel, not fun, like I always say, and this is just a way to prep your food easier. So basically, if I was gonna take all my food in the original packaging, it's gonna be pretty bulky, and it's gonna weigh 32.5 ounces. My weight sack, when I remove all these different packaging materials, wrappers, that sort of thing, and then re-vacuum seal it in a larger bag, is gonna weigh 29.4 ounces. So that's a weight savings right there of 3.1 ounces. So if I'm going, that's 3.1 ounces per day. So I'm going on a 10-day backpack hunt, for example, that's 31 ounces. So that's a really good way to save a bunch of weight. Obviously, you don't have to go that crazy. You can do a few things, take a few wrappers out, maybe re-vacuum seal your freeze-dried, but you're gonna save 3.1 ounces using that method, and that's for, I believe it's like 1.8 pounds of food a day, and it's like 3,660 calories of food. So that's a great way, right away, to save some weight. Second area, and this is the one that you could say is pretty crazy. Toothbrush, toothpaste. All right, everyone has a toothbrush, toothpaste at home. You do not need to pack in your giant one that you might keep at home all the time. I like to keep my teeth clean in the backcountry, so I always bring a toothbrush and toothpaste. I'm gonna give you this example here of your normal toothbrush, and then maybe one of these little travel ones that you fly around with, or just traveling around toothpaste. You don't need to use these things, okay? My toothpaste and toothbrush is this. So I get a lot of these randomly on the internet, or sometimes when I've traveled internationally, they give you a little set of toothpaste and a toothbrush. This is a Z-Pack's toothbrush right here. I have the back handle removed. So yes, it is small. Yes, I do have to reach it in my mouth to brush my teeth, but it's gonna save me some weight. So this right here is going to save me 1.5 ounces. From the original weight to the weight hack, 1.5 ounces. So you see throughout this whole thing too, you might say, oh, it's just an ounce, just a half ounce. It's 4 ounces, 10 ounces. But over time, those add up, as the saying goes. Ounces equal pounds, pounds equals pain, so choose your pain wisely. It's just, again, saving weight collectively through a whole kit. That's gonna eventually lead up to a big number like 10.75 pounds of weight savings. So that's that. We'll talk about tripods. So if you don't have a tripod yet, this is an easy one Just kind of figure out what tripod will work for your hunt. Sometimes going the most ultralight tripod might not be the best situation depending on the hunt you're going on. But if I was going to take the Siru tripod, you know, metal style legs, it's a little bit heavier. This one weighs 51.8 ounces. If I would just swap it to the Tricer BC with the LP panhead, this weighs 31.6 ounces for weight savings right there of 20 ounces. So just between swapping out a different tripod, or if you don't have one, you want to buy one, you can save a bunch of weight right there. Pretty easy one to save a bunch of weight on a tripod. Okay, here's one that's going to be a little bit crazier. We talk about sleeping pads. I'm a tall guy, I'm 6'5". I should be using a long sleeping pad. A long sleeping pad weighs in at 17 ounces. This one right here that I have weighs in at 13 ounces. This is just the regular size one. So I'm willing to sacrifice my feet hanging off a little bit just to save 4 ounces of weight. Again, maybe that's crazy, maybe it's not. Depends on what you're looking to do. But yeah, I save a little bit of weight by using regular length sleeping pad, and I use this on all my hunts, no matter if it's really cold in November, early season, regular length sleeping pad works for me. So that's a good savings tip there. Battery swap, okay? You might have in your kit an assortment of batteries. A lot of times they're AA or AAA. Hopefully a lot of people have, you know, removed batteries from the system. There's still a few things that might take some batteries, a headlamp, you know, if you have image stabilized binos. So if you have alkaline batteries, so I have 4, you know, alkaline batteries here. And if I wanted to swap them over to lithium, basically they're gonna save right here an ounce, a little over an ounce just by swapping batteries. That's just a simple thing like that. I could carry maybe an extra battery and it would still equal that same thing. So I can get a little bit more on my hunt maybe if I need batteries for something. And again, just an easy way to save weight. Knife. This one's not gonna be as severe because I have 2 pretty lightweight options, but you can see here, this is an old Avalon knife. It's so discolored, I've had this thing forever. And just by updating it to an Ibex Mini, which is made out of titanium, super ultra lightweight replaceable blades, both these are replaceable blades, I save 0.6 ounces. Again, 0.6 is not a lot, collectively it'll add up though. So there's a good way to save some weight there. Ooh, the fun one. Okay. Boxers and socks. I go in the mountains, I take 1 pair of boxers and 1 pair of socks. Obviously, if it's a different type of hunting environment where I know it's gonna rain a ton, or I know I don't have the ability to dry the stuff out, maybe I might take an extra pair of socks. But I hear a lot of guys say they're going to the mountains for 7 days on an elk hunt. They're gonna take, you know, 4 pairs of socks. They want to have a dry one every single day, and they take 3 pairs of boxers. Hunting to me is not meant to be super extremely comfortable. I am okay personally wearing 1 pair of boxers the entire time. You know, I'm hunting solo, maybe I have my tent by myself, I'm hunting with my buddy, you know, maybe we're splitting up tents. I don't feel like I'm, you know, gonna stink that bad. Sure, my buddy can tell me I stink a lot, but again, we're hunting, we're trying to do a certain thing. I'm not trying to be fresh, clean every single day, so I don't need to take all these. And again, if I'm only taking 1 and my socks get wet, I can, you know, throw these inside my sleeping bag when I'm sleeping at night, and in the morning when I wake up, my socks will be dry. So this right here, so if I took 4 pairs of socks, 3 pairs of boxers, 21 ounces, and if I took 1 pair of socks, 1 pair of boxers, that's 6.5 ounces for the weight hack. So it's a total savings of 14.5 ounces just on clothes that are sitting in your backpack all the time, not being used. Yes, you can leave them at camp. You maybe hike in 5 miles and dump all this stuff, but you still have to carry it out. Charge brick. There's a million different types of charge bricks out there. Some of them you could say maybe more efficient than others, but this is also a good way to save weight. So this anchor right here weighs 7.4 ounces, and this little Nightcore one, Gen 3, weighs 5.3 ounces for a weight savings of 2.1. They're both the same, 10,000 milliamps or whatever it is, but I save, you know, some weight there. I can almost carry 2 of these for the weight of 1. Oh boy, now we're on to everyone's favorite topic, and I get made fun of a lot, rightfully so, toilet paper. So a full roll of toilet paper weighs 7.3 ounces. I carry 1 ounce of toilet paper in the mountains. You can see here 1 ounce of toilet paper is actually, I don't know if you can see that very well, a decent amount of toilet paper that'll last me a full, you know, 7-day hunt. I don't need to bring this giant thing. Sure, you could say maybe you want to add a little bit more, maybe go 1.5 ounces if you want some toilet paper for fire starter, that sort of thing, but you can save a ton of weight right here. Obviously, you need to know your body. I eat pretty clean all the time. I know what these backpacking foods do to me because I've tested them out a lot, scouting trips, so I don't really get wrecked in the backcountry, so I'm fine with 1 ounce. This might be totally extreme and crazy for you. You could probably skip this one, but I can save right there 6.3 ounces just on my toilet paper selection. Okay, backcountry pillow. Quality of sleep, everyone knows it's great to have in the mountains. I've experimented with pillows a lot. I've gone no pillow, I've gone back to an inflatable pillow, I've gone to a little bag that I can shove things into, and now I'm back to no pillow. So if you're carrying one of these little ultralight backpacking pillows, you can be like, well, this one right here weighs 1.8 ounces. Very ultra lightweight. I have a problem with these pillows like squirting out from my sleeping bag every single night. But I have a lot of clothing that I carry. I carry a down jacket, you know, some insulating layers, that sort of thing. So I now don't carry this at all and just use my down jacket in the evening to use as a pillow, and I'm totally fine with that. Again, depends how you sleep, so you might want to consider that, but there's an easy savings of 1.8 ounces by not carrying that. Okay, optics. This one's going to be a very interesting one too. It's going to depend on your style. I'm not saying you have to buy a bunch of new optics if you have it, but typically back in the day, I used to carry 10s in my chest, 15s in my backpack, and a spotting scope of some sort, okay? So I was carrying this 3 optic setup right now, this exact one. It'd be a total weight of 118.1 ounces. And now I've condensed it down to just using a pair of Zulu 6 image stabilized binos from SIG. This is the 16x42, or I'll use the HDX Pro, which is 16x50. And this accomplishes, you know, this whole range here. So I can get rid of a 10, I don't have to carry 15s, and sure, 16 is a lot, so you could maybe go down to a 12 or a 14, but for me, it works really well for glassing long distance. I can still glass close, 100,000 yards, you know, 800 and in, I'm probably gridding a lot, that sort of thing, and then just using a spotting scope. I just brought this one here just so we don't have extreme weight differences with my, you know, giant BTX 115. But so if I was just using this 2 setup right here, it's gonna weigh 55 ounces. So ditching these 2 alone is gonna save me 63 ounces, sorry. So that's a big weight savings. And again, just depends on maybe the style of hunt you're doing. If you're elk hunting, you definitely don't need these. If you're mule deer hunting, antelope hunting, hunting coos deer, you're probably gonna have a lot of optics, and depends on how far you're going in. But this just, you know, helps me save a big chunk right there. Fuel canisters. So this is another interesting one. It only basically comes through time of maybe being in the field. There's a lot of actually great backpacking websites out there that'll say, hey, what size fuel canister you need for a week? A lot of people carry, I think, too big of a fuel canister, or they'll carry multiple different sizes on a hunt. Think, hey, for a 7-day hunt, I need one of these medium size, which I think is 230 grams compared to the 110 fuel weight. Actually, it's 211 total weight. But you don't really need all these. I can get by an entire week just doing meals in the evening, maybe an every other day coffee, and this will get me by just fine. So basically, I've just broken down 2 different ways. On here right now, I have it broken down, okay, weight savings if you use this one compared to this. So this is 13.3 ounces compared to the 7.4 for weight savings of roughly 6 ounces. I threw this one in there because I have seen people pack this in on a hunt, okay? Just a week-long hunt. Sure, it might be different if you're splitting weight with your friend and you're gonna both use one stove, then yeah, maybe you need to do a little bit different things. But if you're going solo, you don't need this at all. So the weight savings, if you're gonna take this into the backcountry, this weighs 23.5 ounces, and this guy's again 7.4. So this saves you a pound. If you ditch this and just carry this, you save a total pound out of your backpack weight. So fuel, big consideration for how you can, again, save weight when you're in the mountains. Tarps. I always carry a tarp in the mountains just to pitch when it's raining, snowing. I want to be able to glass the whole time, maybe random survival situation, or want to hang out in the mountain for a while and it's too nasty, you can get back to camp, or you're bivvying and you want to carry a tarp maybe on a run and gun, run and bow style archery elk hunt. So just basically between switching from a sill nylon to a Dyneema, you're going to save some weight. So this is the Go Hunt Dyneema tarp, weighs 11.8 with all my guy lines in it and the stuff sack. And if I was going to use a sill poly style tarp, same length of it, roughly the same guy line, that's going to weigh 15.4 for a weight savings of 3.6. So again, you can save a little bit of weight there. Obviously, some of this stuff is costly, so consider that as well. Might not need a Dyneema because they are expensive. I'm not saying you have to buy this stuff again. That's another way to save some weight. Shelter's another really good one too. Again, I love Dyneema. So if I had a Dyneema 4-person teepee, from Peaks, the Dyneema version weighs 31 ounces and their non-Dyneema weighs 39 ounces. So that right there is a weight savings of 8 ounces just on your shelter. Not including the stakes, not including the pole, just the material of the shelter will save you 8 ounces. Zipper poles. All right, this is another, I keep saying this a lot, another interesting one. But Brandon Evans in our office did an article quite a few years ago. He basically took a Mystery Ranch Marshall backpack and put it on a diet. That's, I think, the title of the article. You can find it on Go Hunt. But basically, he took a bunch of zipper pulls on his backpack, cut them because maybe they're a little heavier. Some zipper pulls you might have on a backpack might have a plastic end on it. Some of them are tied. Some of them have rubber on the end of it. But basically, you can take ultralight P-cord. That's why I always have a big, giant selection of P-cord at home, whether it's guy lines, repairing gear. You never know what it might be, but he basically took all those zipper pulls, transformed them into lighter weight P-cord, and then he also cut a bunch of the extra straps. There's some buckles he didn't need, so he cut it. There were some internal compartments on that Mystery Ranch Marshall, the sleeping bag compartment. He cut that out. So basically, that's the scary thing though. Once you cut it, obviously, you can never go back if you cut a bunch of straps off or you cut that sleeping bag compartment. But he was actually able to save a little over 5 ounces by changing all the zipper pulls, that customization on your backpack. That's probably really extreme because again, once you go that route, you can't go back. It's probably gonna void your backpack warranty as well. But that's a good way to save some weight. Last one here, I don't have an example here. I tried to pick 2 roughly the same size Jetboil stoves, but you can save almost 3 ounces if you go from a normal Jetboil that might be, I don't know what kind of metal it is, aluminum or something like that, and you switch it to a titanium version. So that's a good way to save 3 ounces. And again, there's tons of different stoves out there, so maybe you can save more if you have a really heavy one, then you wanna go to the ultra lightweight titanium one. Just in the pot alone, the Cookpot, you can save 3 ounces. Again, so that whole system right there, if you were to do all this stuff in your kit, it's 171.96 ounces you're saving, 10.75 pounds. So that's a good way to save some weight as well. So hopefully by the end of this, maybe there's some tips here. I always have scales at my house. Really small archery scale to weigh some of these small things, a little bigger scale. And again, always the importance of having a gear list and writing all this stuff down. And then you can compare and contrast. Where do you want to spend your money to upgrade some gear or modify stuff to save some weight? And I think gear lists are very important. And then you can also do, I've published those gear lists before, which shows your cost breakdown. Like, hey, if I want to save weight on my optics, what's it going to cost me? If I want to save weight on sleeping system, what's that going to cost and what's that going to save? So hopefully this will give you some ideas on how to shave weight for your next backpack hunt. Again, some of these are extreme, some of them are pretty self-explanatory, but hopefully it help you out. And if you do all these stuff, like I said, you're going to save almost 11 pounds, which is pretty huge. So best of luck this fall. If you have any comments, you want to make fun of it, go for it. I know all these things are pretty crazy, but appreciate you guys watching, and best of luck this season.